So here I am back with another video. So this video is about the top 3 ways in which our mind-body connection affects our physical health through our thoughts, our stress levels, and our patterns, basically, that we run through emotionally. So the strongest way to think of the mind-body connection is this: your thoughts, your anxiety, your feelings, they don't stay in your mind alone. They affect your nervous system, your immune system, your cardiovascular system, your sleep, your behavior towards others, and also your subconscious behavior that you display within your daily actions, and also your recovery. So how quickly you get better from, anything from a gym session to maybe some immune system stress from an illness or, chronic stress. And so also the reverse is true. So when you move your body and you regulate your breath and your physiological stress, your mental state often improves too. I mean, it seems like common sense, right? But we don't often tend to think about the direct implications and connections from the mind and how it affects our body. We tend to think that our minds are somehow located in our heads, and consciousness is in our head, and our body is this physical entity that is also disconnected from the world around us and our happenings. So anyway, a lot of people still talk about the mind like it is separate, but science keeps showing the opposite. So the way you think, the way you feel, the way you breathe, the way you move, and the way you respond to stress and pressure, especially when, when there's a tough situation, how you respond to that shapes your health in real ways. There's real metrics and data. And once again, I'm going to include the references below. Any of these videos where I talk about health or any kind of scientific-backed research will be linked below. And so anyway, when we learn to work with that connection between minds and our bodies, and ultimately see everything connected through consciousness, which is also the spirit, you give yourself a better chance at resilience, at recovery, at long-term well-being, and better off. You're better in all ways at functioning. You're better off this way, is what I'm trying to say. So here are the top 3 scientific facts about the mind-body connection. Number 1, chronic stress does not just affect your mood. It affects your body. This is a given. So without going into complete detail here, when you are programmed to just bring up chronic stress through patterns of anxiousness, your body produces cortisol. Physiological stress has been linked to measurable changes in immune function through that cortisol, because your body's constantly in this fight-flight mode all the time. So modern cardiovascular research shows that stress-related brain and nervous system pathways contribute to inflammation. It's that pain in your body. It's the back pain. It's the weird pains that you just don't know where they came from, but they're just like knots or whatever. Vascular strain. So maybe you might start suffering from high blood pressure and ultimately heart disease risk. People like to say that it's all just external things, and I'm not saying that it's not, that affect heart disease risk like smoking, but it's a whole ecosystem of your behavior here, How many smokers do you know? They smoke when they're extremely happy, when they're extremely unhappy, etc., etc., etc. So again, that connection between your moods, your emotions, and your unconscious triggers have effects on the body, and the body listens to the mind for these signals or threats or impulses, really. So the first thing to understand is that stress isn't just emotional. Stress becomes physical. When you're stressed and you're constantly stressed, the body can stay stuck in a loop where it's constantly in a fight-flight response and a state of alertness. And over time, that can affect all sorts of things. it brings up disease. So the mind-body connection is not just a concept, it's something that the body's responding to every day. One of the main reasons why we want to be at least having some kind of mindful practice, especially if we care about health. It goes hand in hand. Anyway, number 2, moving the body can improve the mind. So if you're stuck in these patterns of stress, one of the things that you can do instead of sitting there lingering around, you can get up and do some push-ups. You can sit there and you can jolt the body. You can go into the shower. You can have a cold shower, which will reset your nervous system. So I'm just going to read some of the references here. A large 2024 BMG network meta-analysis found that when exercise is an effective treatment for depression, along with walking, jogging, yoga, strength training, of course, and also other studies found that higher daily step counts were associated with fewer depressive symptoms. Obviously, we don't want to just be sitting around. It's one of the clearest examples of the body feeding back into the mind. And the second thing is that the body can help lead the mind. So movement's not just about fitness, it directly supports mental health, including little tiny actions, especially in maybe when you're having a panic attack or something like that. I don't know how many of you have had panic attacks, but even just tapping your body and giving your nervous system that kind of like physical response can get you out of a pattern and a loop. That's at a very extreme case. But what I'm trying to say is that research shows that exercise reduces depressive symptoms, which should be a given right now. And better moods are linked in with taking direct action. So clarity sometimes doesn't begin with thinking more, it begins with moving more. There's, some direct things that we can do to find that life force within us, especially if we are depressed. And instead of going down a spiraling pathway of avoidance, which can come in all different forms, we can just start to work on our physical well-being, which will in turn work on the mind. So, the two go hand in hand. Anyway, they're the 2 top points here. The third point, breathing and regulation those practices can shift both mental and physical stresses. So, for example, you can meditate and control your heart rate. It shows that breath work and diaphragmatic breathing, that's when you're consciously breathing through your diaphragm, through your stomach, rather than this tension where you're breathing through your shoulders and your lungs. All of those things are associated with reductions in stress, anxiety, and depression. And just the daily practice of breathing and clearing your mind shows moderate benefits on blood pressure, heart rate, and obviously it matters because the more you work on the idea that all of these little actions are connected, the more you have a holistic way of looking after yourself rather than just one way. And it still blows my mind that if you have an issue and some repeating chronic pattern, you go to the doctor, instead of the first thing that they'll tell you, maybe, like go for a walk and do some exercise. It's an external thing that's prescribed to you. Anyway, save that for another video. So with these 3 things, so the way you think, the way you move, and even the way you breathe are the fastest bridges between your body and mind. So when you slow down and regulate breathing, for example, you're not just calming your thoughts, you're sending signals to your body to reduce your heart rate, to calm yourself down, to lower your cortisol levels. And research shows that breathing can help reduce stress and anxiety and even improve physical markers like heart health, blood pressure, mood, all of the rest of it. And, we could go deeper into breath work, but maybe that's another video. So anyway, your body-mind connection's not abstract. Your inner world shapes your biology, and your daily physical habits shape your inner world. So that means that better health's not just about treating symptoms and going and getting a pill from a doctor or an antidepressant or whatever you want to label yourself with. ADHD and then getting prescribed, what do they prescribe you? Clinical meth. Anyway, it's not about that kind of stuff. It might just be about actually shifting the way that you think about yourself, about the patterns and the thoughts, and doing something about it. It's about learning how to work on the whole system of you, which nobody ultimately has control over better than you. So anyway, that's been the top 3 points in how the mind and the body are ultimately connected to your health. And I hope that helps. I'll catch you on the next one.